And we don't get another error message. Otherwise, I'm going to just decide that if Zoom has some problem. Yay! Okay. And we don't get another error message. Otherwise, I'm going to just decide that if Zoom has some problem. Now I'm listening to myself. How do I make that up? Okay. All right. Okay. But the point is, we're live on somewhere on the internet, which was our whole goal. So sorry for anyone who is able to watch this live for all the technical difficulties. We were planning on streaming this artist talk to Facebook, our Facebook page, and that didn't work. So we're here on YouTube, but we'll be sharing it back to the Facebook and all that. But my name is Rose Eason, and I am the director of Gallup Arts, which is the nonprofit arts council for Gallup and McKinley County. And one of our projects is Art 123 Gallery. And for this past month of January, we've had a guest curator, Shondine DeGroat, take over the gallery and put up a show in collaboration with 6 fellow artists called Finding Temperance, Art as Medicine. And Shondine and 3 of the featured artists are here with us tonight to talk about the show, their work, and the social justice issue of being healthy essentially, and pathways to health and well-being that the show addresses. So with that, Shondine, I'll turn it over to you. And while you talk, I'll share some installation photos from the show. But if you want to just tell people a little bit about the theme, this Finding Temperance Art as Medicine idea, where that came from, and how you wanted to visualize it with the show at Art 123 Gallery.
Okay, thank you. Hello, my name is Shondine DeGroat. I am the guest creator for Gallup Arts at Art 123. And the show is about the social justice topic of alcoholism and its effect on self and community. But I wanted to frame it in a way that was familiar to me in my life, so I created the show around the idea of art as medicine, how art making can be invaluable tool to one's path to sobriety and better mental health. When I think of this project, I think about how fitting it would be, or about how fitting it would be to use my skills as an artist to showcase that alcohol isn't the end at all, that we are able to come back from that. Art has been a tremendous influence on how I've been able to reframe my mindset. They say that art is medicine, and it really is. Since starting my sobriety journey, I've watched myself and my work evolve, and I see my work as representing my journey to well being. January marks 1 year and 11 months sober for me. It's been one of the hardest but best decisions I have made, and becoming a full time artist has also helped me so much. The idea that I've been able to endure so much, but still here I am today doing what I love most, which is creating art, and how that perhaps in some small way I can help a younger kid realize their potential, and to remind them that their voice and story matter too. To show the audience that journey to better mental health and sobriety is different for everyone, I wanted to invite several different artists and their approach to art making, which is why I invited 5 other artists to show their work as well, which are Kea Henry, Nathan Nez, Jerry Brown, myself, and Nelmerthan Pablo. Also, Jason Kentlicini.
Oh, that's really beautiful, Shondine, and it's a really moving and powerful show. Um, were there any artworks in your installation that you wanted to talk about in particular that might be super reflective or salient to this theme? Um, any of
Um, Probably be Mother's Prayer. That one speaks to me the most.
is that the
The one with the woman that has her eyes closed. It's
okay?
kind of like looking off,
Did I
or
get
yeah,
it?
looking
Is it
down.
the one on the screen right now? Did I get it right?
Yeah, that
Okay.
one was done with watercolor and Indian ink,
Mm.
and outlined with a green acrylic paint marker. I really like this one because, you know, your mom always prays for you, and I like how all the colors like make that make the woman be reassured that her prayers are being answered, that whatever she's praying about is being answered. But yeah,
Mhm.
this one really speaks to me. I really enjoyed working on this one as well.
That's great.
um
I
yeah.
wanted to, sorry,
Go ahead, sorry.
I wanted to ask you, because I think there's kind of two just very basic aspects to this idea of art as medicine. Um, One is like, you know, uh, viewing artwork or experiencing it can be a form of medicine, and then obviously making artwork can be a form of medicine. And I am not an artist. I'm just zero talent. But when I try to do some artwork, it's very therapeutic. And your style that you've been developing over the last several years is real, like it has a lot of repetitive elements, and the line work is so methodical. And so I was wondering, I'm going to show one of those pieces that has a lot of line work in it, but if that's
Okay.
of what art as medicine means to you, just the process of doing it and making these lines over and over, if that's kind of a place where you can kind of zen out or recenter yourself, or anything like that. Not to put words in your mouth.
Oh, with these landscapes, yeah, I really enjoy these because most of it's freehand, and I really get caught up in the lines. And I really love like looking at the landscapes around New Mexico and like recreating them in my head. And when I get to color, that's how I see like the landscape sometime. Like it's how I visualize it in my head. And
You,
this is all done with like it's all acrylic paint, but the outline's done all freehand as well with the paintbrush, and I really enjoy that because it's therapeutic. Because you can't miss up. There's only once you get that line down, you can't really wash it off or anything, so it's there. And I like it keeps you going when you get it correct, and that's the healing part of it for me is just getting it done right the first time and not having to redo it, if that makes sense.
yeah, yeah, no, I think as a viewer, I guess I should just speak for myself, but as a viewer of your work, you have kind of the same, you go through the same process where it just all feels right. Like it just all feels like perfectly placed, perfectly positioned, perfectly patterned, perfectly composed, and all the little details add up to like a true sense of just peace and calm. I don't know. That's what I experienced. So thank you for for that. And then the last thing I wanted to ask you about was this idea you had to invite gallery visitors to participate in the process of art as medicine. And I will bring up the it's not finished because the show is still up for another week, but we have the in progress collaborative painting that artists
Oh
have
yeah.
been adding to and visitors have been adding to. So I'll bring up a shot of that, and then if you could just talk about what kind of the thought process behind this was, or what you were hoping people would take away from this experience in the show generally.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I really like this idea. I kind of took it from Jerry because he does that a lot, and I really like the outcomes, like the endings when they're completed, and how he has everyone, or how everyone adds their own unique style or even a doodle to the canvas. And that is like art as medicine. Like it's a community thing, and it's gonna come out beautiful when it's truly done.
Hmm.
And I just thought it was a spontaneous thing to do. You don't really see that much, hands-on things you can do at art shows.
Hmm. Yeah, no, people have been really enjoying it. It's been very well received, and people have been spending a long time adding and it's really I like how it's evolved. I wish we had some more shots of the beginning stages because I think people were a little worried about like they don't want to draw over something someone else has done, but like all the layers
Yeah,
really adding up to something really, really, yeah, really
I
nice.
was, I'm surprised how it's coming along. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I agree.
But shout out to Jerry Brown. I got the idea from him.
Well, should we move to Jerry then?
Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, thank you again. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, Shondine. All right, Jerry. I want to give you a chance to introduce yourself first to everybody, and then if you want to also talk a little bit about um, kind of what your approach to the topic of this show was and what you wanted to present as part of it while you introduce yourself. Oh, you got to unmute first, Jerry. Do you need me to do that?
Figure it out. Oh yeah,
Yep.
got it. Oh, yeah. My name is Jerry Brown. I'm from Mariano Lake, and this is my home. I have a hogan that I lived in with my wife and my daughter. So and so forth. We have horses. We have two sheep that were runts, and then people drop them off, and then we just and then well, dogs, and yeah. And happy to be part of the show. Thank you, Shandine, for to be part of the show. So yeah. Um, I um I like to add stuff and progress my my backgrounds. If you look closely on my background, it has a lot of layers because I from a boarding school to a Catholic school to a, a 2 year program, a college of a Institute of American and Arts, and I turned that myself into a 4 year program. That that's and then with the traditional stories with the homestead here, and it just go in and out, and it has a lot of depth. That's what it is. My all my background. So yeah, and with the public piece with the ceremonial, we um, we help out with the birdhouse auction for the relay for um, life, and then return they gave me a free spot. The ladies that run that, so and then this and during the ceremonial, and they gave me a spot, and that's where I sh- shine. That's my floor. So I was like, why can I make it interesting and invite everybody? And so there's more um, stories and deeper stories behind it, but this is one of it that it progress and years. So this is the fourth. No, wait. Yeah, I think this is the fourth one. Yeah, and the Apache dancers, every time they swing by, or I started Wednesday. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and part Sunday. So they wrote the ceremonial words,
Oh.
the Apache crown dancers, and and a lot of them they will tell you, like, the hoofs, the where the horse is running, and that the the hoof tracks, yeah, and the handprint is the missing and murdered sisters and brothers. So yes, and then the heart, it just makes it real. It's live, and you invite people from all ages, and the grandmas and the grandpa, and then which is that they're brought up with horses or sheep and all that, so they understand. And I make sure that proportion wise on the horse is in place. So, and then they put the necklace on it, and so they give them like a leadership, and then strength, and then the flaming hair, on the horse. So make sure it's running. So it's in like this the series of horses is like, it's endless. It's powerful. And with the so towards like Sunday, I add on dragonflies and a bee, because dragonfly is fierce, and it's, it it's hope and it's strength again, and also the bee is pollinate, so the rebirth and harmony. So yeah, and it just comes together Sunday. So yeah.
I think That's really special what you're talking about, Jerry, is how art can be like a form of like communal medicine where people get to build those bonds and kind of I don't know, exchange ideas with each other or just learn from each other or just even just share a space and time with each other in a more intentional way. Um, and then I know you were talking about your backgrounds, but for the show for Art as Medicine, um, how did you interpret that theme? Was it different from kind of Shondine? Is artwork a way for you to just find center or stay, you know, well, whatever that means to you, or is it did you
I,
interpret?
I, it's the landscape and the trees, the vegetation around me, and this was done at a and this was done at the Los Alamos ski area. Because if you look at it, the the landscape, that's where the ski lifts, and then the boys and girls that they have a bike races, those, so they zigzag right in front of those trees, and then through the trees, and they zigzag back down on the other side, and then they shoot into the woods and then come back around. So this is my interpretation at that moment. What the bike race, Silver Stallion bike race, is means to me at that moment, at that time too. So yeah, and anxiety. That's what I have. So this kind of keeps me grounded. There's two things: the art world and car repairs. So I kind of do both. I If I do a lot on the other side, I have to flip it. So, yep, and that keeps me grounded. But I usually go back to just paint, anything I'll come across or think what's in front of me, just make it work. And that's this is one series of it. So yeah, there's four of it. So yeah.
I was curious, you're known around Gallup and beyond Gallup for hummingbirds. That's become like one of your trademarks. And I was wondering if you're drawn to them or you incorporate them into your work so often because they have some kind of art as medicine quality to them for you. And I'll pull up the hummingbird that you shared in this show, or one of them, I should say.
Oh yeah, and that's a kingfisher.
Oh, it's not a hummingbird?
No, the hummingbird is the leaves.
The napkins and the leaves.
That's a
Oh,
kingfisher.
no.
It's
Okay.
okay. It's all right. That's a
That's
kingfisher.
my bad because I am not a biologist. Let me just excuse myself from that. And
Okay. The
I'm,
king,
but
the
you can talk
kingfisher,
about the hummingbird. Oh, go ahead. Talk about the king. You want me to leave it up? I'll leave it.
yeah, the kingfisher has a story because that is a
Okay.
plexiglass that the elementary used, and then the high school received it. The high school art classes, and there was a stack of it, and then the art teacher invited me in. I was like, What do you need me to do, or round up some supplies?" I said, "What do you have? Pen, pencil, markers, crayons, charcoals." And then I looked over across the room, and then that was construction paper. And then he opened up at the cabin doors and there were mediums. I was like, dude, you have all of it. Let's make it. And so I gave them sort of like my interpretation at that time was like how they uh, use their phone and then they just slide the pictures with their fingertips, and then an interpretation of that, and it's like, okay, let's use this. So this is a pellet knife. Well, I introduced myself and then introduced the medium, said that we're going to do that, and we're not going to spend a lot of time on it, and we're going to, like, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes, that type of stuff, and it build up. And they created their own pieces. Oh, you got to go see them. It's beautiful how they interpreted their vision at that moment. And they used uh, magazines and newspaper. And some of them, went beyond what I was expecting them. They came up with their own, like, I had trouble with the the elections, and it just went on. I was like, wow, these are powerful pieces. So yeah, this is one of it. So yeah,
Well, thank you
I
for
want yeah, I wanted the piece that speaks for itself, not the frame. That was just like, to make it, you know, bring it in. So yeah, make it hold.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Another example of how art can.
Oh gosh, yeah. At that moment, just go, go, go. Like how Shandine says, if you start something and you don't go back. So yeah, you just go, 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 go. Yeah. Yeah. That's
Okay,
way
well,
out.
thanks.
Way.
I don't have a great photo of the hummingbird installation. I have a photo of your entire installation, and you can see there's hummingbird drawings, and then
Oh, there's
there's
napkins too.
yeah, okay, and
Yeah,
then
there are
you making.
in restaurants. I they always give us napkin or they're there, and I just like well dish out a pencil or a pen or a crayon, and then slowly because it's delicate. So if you put a lot of pressure, you could rip that napkin and then it's go to waste. But you just have to be just find the smooth ride, just ride on that. So I was like, yeah, that's my napkin art, and I usually give them away. So you know, I love doing that.
Do
And there's another piece,
oh, go ahead. No, go ahead.
and there is another hummingbird in that area. It leaves during the fall, and GFK right outside the library. There was just a bunch of leaves. I was like, hey, I I can make a hummingbird out of leaves, so I did. That was fun.
Do you make hummingbirds because they're like therapeutic in some way, or they have?
Oh, yeah. There's a story because I had a dream at one time, and I have a lot of dreams. I have a lot of stories, but this is one of it. So they were asked to get something from the West. They were sent. So they went, shoo, 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 shoo. And I don't live in an adobe house. I came out of an adobe house on a moonlight. So I was looking at the moonlight, and then three of them passed. I was waiting for the fourth one to go by. I was like, nope. And then later he showed up, and then he was small in the moonlight, but when he hit the ground, it was like, wow. It's like a whale. That's magnitude size of it. And it was like, and coming back from the west, he hit something, the beak was cracked. So with the mediums that I maybe that's I don't know, but just later on, but I patched it back up on the beak, and it went transformed his or herself, and then it went small and took off. But and then he came back and hovered. That was it. And I was like, what was that mean? What does that mean? I know it's a messenger for the non-living and the dead. So and all and other interpretations. And it's like ours is good luck. So I was like, hey, maybe that's going to be my subject matter. Yes. So I started doing that. I would do so much within a year of that. And so I kind of so skip and hop with other stuff so I can make it a good year for me. So yes, that is yep. I shared that story like I had it just a while ago. That type of stuff. It was awesome. That's why I do.
Thank you, Jerry. Thank you for sharing that story with us. And I really
Yeah.
appreciate how kind of in community you are, and your practice is rooted in community. That's really
Yes.
powerful.
Yep.
Um,
Thank you, Gallup. I always say that. Thank you, Gallup. You never know.
hmm
Yeah.
Um, well, you were talking about working with earth materials, and I know that's something that Kaya wanted to speak about. So Kaya, if you want to introduce yourself and then talk a little bit about your interpretation of the art as temperance theme, or how you wanted to approach the show and what you wanted to present, or what story you wanted to tell as part of it.
Yes. Hello, everybody.
My name's Kev Henry. I am Ashin and Kiani Bashishin. I'm also from Marion Lake, New Mexico. Um, Grew up there till high school with the DeGrow family, my mom's side. And my cousin Shanding invited me to this show because this is what I want to do. Do shows about where we come from and of our past of destruction, and we are here, um, clean, sober, the positive side of life, and using art as our therapy. So I'm glad to be part of this show with you guys, and I'm glad that my brother invited me to do this with him. This is important for me. Uh, from this, I talk about where I came from through my art, from that dark past to this positive side of life I live right now. Uh, Took a while. At 14 years sober now, and, and I'll continue this life because I like this better. And with this type of a show, I hope and hopefully reach out to those that are still suffering from some kind of addiction, um, and see something where I came from and relate to it. Most of my art's kind of dark in a sense, but it tells the truth of what happened in my uh, past life and with family that we lost. Lost my dad a couple of years. Yeah, a couple of years back in December. So it's pretty hard. This past December is the year that we lost him, but it was through alcoholism. And some family members of Shandine's two brothers and my uncle. They're artists too. Um, this is very important to me, and this is a good thing to start from. Starting late in this kind of doing this. This is my first show. I just got back into my artwork because of school. I just recently got my master's in over at IAIA. I graduated in May, and for my goals of coming from that or shooting for is becoming an instructor.
Hmm.
Hopefully, be a painter, teacher, or something. But with culture from where we're from, in a native sense, or even a Diné sense of how we see art. Um, and with the stuff I use pigment paintings them with earth elements. I use a lot of charcoal, ash, red sand. Um, I do this in like an abstract way from our ways of doing sand painting ceremonies. So I tell everybody this is not intentions of a ceremonial thing. It's just a thing we heal people with, or heal the people or the community, or even weddings. They used to and still do these ceremonies with sand paintings. So I know a lot about it. I know how to pray to it, and I'm very careful with the work. And I use the elements we pray with. I put it into my artwork so that I don't harm nobody or harm myself. But it's all about that Hojo, the life I live now, the beauty way. You know, I learned a lot through the Hogan ceremony, the corn pollen road prayers through my Che, my grandpa. Um, he taught me a lot before he left us in '94. But I'm so glad that my mom, uh, she knows a lot about those prayers. Even my dad, even though he was in his path of this destruction, he always prayed with the corn pollen, and he showed me. I'm glad that I learned that from him before he passed. So all the things I've experienced, all my artwork, and what heals me and what takes care of me is blessing these pieces that I do, from the smallest pieces to the big pieces that I work with. Um, the older pieces I was working with acrylics and oils, and I had a lot of dark ways of painting when I was going to school here at NAU, to show the students where I came from and that type of life that I left to be here with them in class. They really respected me because they were young and I was the oldest in there, and there were not much natives in there. There were all some foreigners and non-natives, and they got to see who we are, and we're not living in those teepees or still running around chasing trains that they were asking me when I was going to school there. But then now we're just like you guys, living here in the urban city life and off from the res life. So I teach that, tell my story, do the artwork when we're doing our critiques, and then that's what keeps me sober. That's what heals me, and glad that there's others like me, uh, especially with you guys doing shows like this, and glad to be here and talking with you guys about where I came from, and yeah, I'm from Maryland, New Mexico, and grew up off and out away from that place in Albuquerque. So got the taste of the res life and urban life. So you can see that in my paintings. Got into the lowrider culture. Um, Now I just do that as a hobby. So I do a lot of multimedia with paints, from automotives to house paints to art paints, and to now I'm using pigments, which I want to go further in. And real quick, February 12th, I'll be starting two big wall projects out at sites of Santa Fe, the gallery out there. Be doing a whole wall of cochineal, another wall with indigo, and looking forward to that. I get to experience from the smallest pieces that I have and to the huge pieces I'm gonna be working with, and I'm always facing challenges. I never get scared unless I never get nervous. Like, people always ask me, "How come you're never nervous?" Or it's just the programs that I went to sober up helped me a lot to be open to people. I came from the Alcoholics Anonymous to find myself and get myself sobered up, and from there, I found my way back to our traditional ways of life. And I started to remember how my grandpa, showed me all this sand painting and other medicine people. Even non-Navajos, I learned a lot from Pueblo and Hopi medicine people too. So I talked to a lot of medicine people, which was pretty cool, and took all that in, and that's what you see in my artwork now.
Well, thank you so much. You mentioned small pieces, so I thought I would bring up one of those, and
Yeah.
ask you to um, just share more about the process, the materials you're using, and how that's informing your process. It's really interesting using pigments and blending things together and wanting to bring in those natural materials into your piece. Do you start with those, or do you work them in as you go, or kind of, yeah, where do you start a painting and how does it evolve?
Oh, this one's acrylic, but this is where it went towards to the pigments, because I work a lot with our deities, especially the Yibichis, because the only time we can mess with them and the time we can paint with them is in the winter times. You know, in that respect, and when the when there's time for them to go home, I stop painting them and stop. We stop talking about them because they're going back to heal the to heal the to heal the net people. and others through the five finger people. So I look at it and I started thinking about it. So then I thought about my name, Kea, which means land in Navajo. So there was a reason I was thinking that I should be starting using earth tones where we used to a long time ago
Mm,
to do the sand paintings, the ceremonial sand paintings, and I got that information. I got that teachings from my master's program.
mm,
There was a lot of my mentors that were doing dyes. So that's one of the mentors. Her name is Dakota Mace. That's the one I'll be working with out in Santa Fe this coming February. And I said, man, this is cool. I wonder if I could do it from just actual earth and put it on a canvas or on a wall or something that can be vertical. So that's why I started experimenting and used that for my 2 years there from a program and working with my mentors. So and then it's pure that way. It's like it came from the land. They were
mm.
having a hard time calling it land art because land art is different. It's out there. So
Right.
like I just don't know. I brought the land. It's right there on the wall. So but yeah, that's where I got this idea of it came from these deities we pray to and then put it to in the pure way. So I thought of it the way I was explaining about the sand painting part of it, but in an abstract way. Like I said, to not hurt myself or hurt others or respect it. So I'll be working with different types of abstract from it, but right now I'm gonna get way into it where I'm just doing nothing but a big piece of charcoal mix or ash mix or cochineal, all these things we used to use all the way to touching. I even did a big fabric piece of cutadine, the corn pollen that we pray with. I had that all in our master's program art show, and it came out pretty good. And I said, I'm gonna continue this and do this type of work in the future. So I'm pretty late coming from this because I let it go when I graduated from high school, and I brought it back after I sobered up. So that's where all this came from was when I sobered up.
I'm gonna bring back up the first piece we were looking at just so people can I can see them both on my screen and I know people watching can't, but it's really beautiful to see the side by side, the acrylic one we showed and then this one with the pigments and the earth. Um, it's still so vibrant, you know. I think people think of earth tones as muted or something, but I don't know.
Yeah,
The way that you're
yeah,
using.
that's what they told me about my paintings when I was at school. It's real bright. My colors were always bright, so I was thinking, man, I wonder if I can tone it down with so that earth stuff tone it down for me because it's not really like pure colors coming from acrylics or oils, but from the land itself, it's like I wanted to where it's limited. Like back then, they were limited with use of use of colors, and that's why I limited this kind of a lower tone and kind of like it was done back way back when all the when it was just us and the native people that were here, you know, and all the way to the petroglyphs. So I see it that way. Like I took a piece from the petroglyphs and I took it over here, kind of like that's how limited I want it to be.
Mm,
And they always ask us, "How do you guys did your art?" Because a lot of people always thought of art came from the European side, the other side of the world. When we did have art here, when we didn't see it that way, but with our ceremonial stuff and our ways of showing it on the walls and the petroglyphs is the stories that we came from, and that's what I look at.
mm,
Um, I wish we could go to those petroglyphs, but when we were young, we were not allowed to go to those places. So this is my imitation of what it looks like in my mind
mhm.
and what I read or what I see or what I hear from stories. So a lot of this were taught to me from people that been around all that, and especially from the medicine people.
Well, thank you for sharing that with us. And I am really appreciating, even though it's not the same kind of vibrant, how vibrant these works. I know you don't want to call them that, but they're really, yeah. Someone once told me that like Gallup is just brown and they were complaining that there's no color here, and they couldn't be more wrong in my opinion. And I'm right about that. So thank you, Kaya. I'm really excited. And at the end, I'll ask everybody, and we can share it along with the video for your social media so people can stay up to date and with your site Santa Fe project. That sounds really incredible.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. All right, Nalmerson, definitely. Last but not least at all, will you please introduce yourself and share how you approach the Finding Temperance theme and the body of work that you created for this show and what you wanted to communicate with it?
Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Namerton Pablo. I'm a Navajo artist, a multidisciplinary artist from Gallup, New Mexico. Live and work here in the area. Been creating art pretty much all my life, and it's just something that I turn to as a stress reliever, which is kind of art as medicine. Getting back to that topic, as what you're asking each artist, um, how do you use it as a healing tool? For mine, is more of a stress reliever. Working within the community, local community, inside Gallup and outside Gallup as a firefighter EMT. I encounter so many people that deal with many different types of, things that they're just addicted to. Either whether it be alcohol, drugs, or whatever. Majority of the time, that's something I encounter. The people who are at the lowest of their life or the highest of their life, just anywhere and in between. So I pretty much all the art that I created for this show was based on alcoholism, pretty much with that one. And I really like the title of the show, which was Finding Temperance, which is also, you look up the definition for temperance was moderation or self-control, finding that control of, alcoholism or, drug addiction, whichever one you want to use. Everyone has their own addiction to something. So I created 4 pieces for this one. Each one has their own little individual title. And I remember you saying it was kind of a story. In a sense, it kind of is a story from the ones I created. First one was I Was Here, which is kind of a breakdown in pretty much someone who's an alcoholic or drinking alcohol, how they can get consumed by their own demons. And from there, it can spiral out to multiple different things. And it just starts with one and just continues on and on. And, from financial issues or whatever is going on in your life, how it just starts with your own demons and them consuming you. And I really like how the table has I Was Here engraved into it. I put that on there because, not me personally speaking, but I'm sure somebody out there who was more of a viewing the artwork would be like, okay, well, yeah, I was in that situation. I was there, or I was here too, in a sense. And hopefully they're able to get out of that, cycle of whatever was going on with them. Oh yeah, there you go. That one.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I couldn't get the picture, so excuse the delay. But yes, this is the painting.
It's fine. That one I created based on, like I was saying, getting consumed by your own demons. Everyone has one. Alcohol in this one was that reference. And I tied it in all together with the back artwork too. That one was kind of more or less looking into people's past and, what got them to that point, dealing with multiple different things that could be, stuff that's weighing heavy on them, either their own culture, their past, or, current events that were going on and how it just affects everyone. So I really like that one. The more I look at it, the more I'm like, okay, yeah, I went further into different topics, but it's kind of trying to stay with one. And from that on to which was a double vision, basically was a photography one, which is a little bit different. Usually I'm more painting and just keeping with everything. This one was more of a digital photograph and working with photo manipulation and just, incorporating what someone who was under influence of some type of either drug or alcoholism would experience. And something I see daily, just people dealing with addiction and alcoholism. And then from there, I went on to cause and effect. Basically, the overconsumption of many things that we take into our body or whatever we're doing has a cause and effect, whether it's going to be positive or negative. It's going to be determined by the after effects, the effects of after whatever we did, overconsumption of whatever we were doing. And this one I chose a highway, a side of highway. You drive down any road, you'll see multiple different little motifs or little things for people who have lost loved ones, whether it be a cross or candles or different things. So everything has a cause and effect. Is overconsumption of many things that we're dealing with, and those people who are dealing with finding that temperance, that self control. This may or may not be the outcome for those people experiencing those things. And just in my line of work, I experience people on the line of this one way or another. Either we picking them up or we're helping them out, or I've lost many family and relatives, as well as friends, lots of friends, to alcoholism or drug addiction. From them taking their own lives or taking someone else's life. So, and it's always tough, but it's just something that I turn to artwork for to release it all. Holding on to that stuff is not really good. It weighs heavy on you, and that's why I turn to artwork a lot. I never used to, but I found that I kept on returning back to artwork, creating things, and just trying to get it out rather than holding on to it. Um, then from that, I moved on to my last one, which was Challenges of Self. That was the title for this artwork. And I really like this one. It's kind of probably my favorite out of all the pieces I created. In the middle has a little sun, a mirror in the middle for somebody's face. And then I painted the body. And then from there, I just incorporated something that was more like a Neville rug type thing. And it's all encased in one big, heavy wooden art piece. And I chose words on there: mind, body, spirit, and the challenges of self. Basically, I don't know if you can see, but all is kind of like a little red, has a tinge to it. Basically, just saying all challenges of self. In body, mind, body, and spirit. Basically, I went from that was the body, mind, body, spirit concept. Basically, was a person's physical, mental, and emotional health, dealing with different things and how you're going to perceive things. And majority of the time, people when you're trying to deal with your own self, looking inward, most people have to actually look at themselves first and actually go in and see what are the challenges of them, what have got them into their own situation. And sometimes people can or can't deal with that. And that's why I put that little mirror there. It's not just me looking at myself, it's whoever's the viewer, and questioning, how they got to where they're at or what's going on in their life, whatever it is, and the challenges of all that comes with whatever situation they're in.
Yeah, it's a really powerful way not to just end your series, but I think it's positioned in the gallery in a way that it's kind of either people's starting point for this show or like their ending point. And either way, I think it really speaks to what I think is at least one of Sean Dean's goals, bringing you all together and putting this on, is to involve people in the conversation and ask us each kind of to reflect on where we're at and how we can engage. And yeah, so it's it's a really great. I know you didn't do that on purpose, but it brings it all together in that way, or it gets people kind of in the right mindset to view the rest of the work. Is it a type of self-portrait, or is it more about the viewer, this piece?
Uh, Both. It's a little bit of both. More of a self-portrait, just looking inward and trying to figure out what's going on. Everyone has things they're going through, and the challenges of everyday life or challenges of self, your own self, finding whatever's going on with you. Your own, getting past your own ego and dealing with things that are, affecting you yourself, and also the viewer, whoever's viewing it. So I really like this one. It's one of the
Mm-hmm.
like um, helps me understand people who are looking at the artwork, and that's kind of pretty much what I usually, whenever I'm creating art, I try to create it in a way that people reflect on it, but also create a dialogue between yourself and the artist or whoever is viewing it. And that's I enjoy getting that feedback from everyone, whether it's positive or negative, whether they like it or hate it. It's still positive feedback for me, and you understand that my art that I'm creating is doing something for the person or vice versa for myself. So
I think it's really powerful to like think of it as a self-portrait, because my first reaction to it was, oh, it's more about like me as a whatever, a person. But then when I thought of it as a self-portrait, it's like such a strong reminder when you are, especially I think around Gallup when you're like seeing someone struggling to remember that we're all humans and at some level way back we're all related, and we all have that kind of basic obligation to each other. We should be seeing ourselves in each other more. So as a like kind of claiming it as a self-portrait feels like really powerful to me, so I appreciate it that
Yeah,
you
resonated really strongly with me because when I was creating it, like you were saying, it really is like a self portrait for myself, in a sense. The more I'm thinking about it as I was creating, I was like, yeah, this is more of me helping me deal with things that I was going through at the same time.
Mm.
And it wasn't more of an addiction thing; it's more of like a self healing, like you're saying, like the whole show is about, art as and a healing medicine in a way. Um, Mine was more for dealing with the challenges of coming to the acceptance of losing a parent. I lost my mom beginning of the year, and that was kind of, I hadn't created any artwork since the beginning of the year. So doing this show and the art challenges that I'm currently doing are my very first artworks back in doing anything. So it was pretty tough coming back to creating art because, losing a loved one, regardless of, who it is very tough. And that weighs heavy on you, especially if that person is a pivotal role in your life and having to deal with that. So
Man, I'm sorry about that, Namerthan, but I'm really glad that this was a healing experience for you, and I do really appreciate you sharing it with all of us very much. And all of you, thank you to all of you for opening up the way you have in the show and your artwork and here in this artist talk. These are really, yeah, really moving, like I said at the beginning, experiences for people to have. And I've gained a lot from listening to you and from getting to see your artwork on a more regular basis. So I will encourage everybody to see Finding Temperance before it closes at Art 123 on Saturday, February 1st. You still have was that 4 days to come see it. Art 123 is open Tuesday through Friday, 2 to 6, and Saturday from noon to 6. Um, and yeah, does everyone want to close out by telling people where they can find you if they want to see more of your work or follow what you're up to next? I guess I should call on people to make it easy. So I'll just go in the order we went. Shandine, do you want to tell people how to stay in touch?
Oh yeah, you can find me at Facebook. My name Shandine DeGroat. Instagram be Boy 3000. Be _boy BOI _ 3000. And yeah, you can find us on the flea market Saturdays sometimes if you're lucky.
Yes, if you're lucky. I love that. Thanks, Shandine.
Yeah,
Jerry,
thank you.
where can people find you? Oh, you muted again. Sorry. Oh, oh, wait, I'm so sorry. That was my fault. Do it again. I apologize. Okay, go ahead, Jerry.
JerryBrownArt.com and at JerryBrown.com.
Excellent.
Jerry Brown Art.
Okay, jerrybrownart.com. Got it.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jerry.
Yes.
All right,
Thank
Kaya,
you.
thank you so much. Where are you at, Kaya? Oh, you're also muted. Sorry.
Sorry.
No problem.
You can find me also on Facebook under starts with my last name to Keenan, my middle name. And I'm gonna be just only on Instagram soon. It will be Chaotic Arcs. That's the name I go under because my work is chaotic and different. And I also have a website. It'll be chaoticarts.bix.com. Working on that one, so putting more work in there to show. And I'm out here residing in Flagstaff right now in Arizona, so I'm out here out for you guys, shows, future shows, and get to know you guys, and hopefully get to see them. So, and I'll still post all the shows that I'm just building a resume before I start
Mhm.
teaching, so that's why I'm doing some shows right now.
That's
Thanks.
awesome. Yeah, I'm so excited for you to become a art teacher, instructor as well.
Thank you.
And Namerthan, how about you?
Oh, it'll be under Facebook is my name, Namerton G Pablo, and Instagram's gonna be NG Pablo underscore artist at Instagram.
Yeah. Perfect. Thank you guys. I'll bring everyone back into the room together, and I thank everybody for watching. Thank all of you again once more for participating in the show. Shondine for curating it, bringing it together, and for everyone for being here tonight. So I hope you all take care and yeah, have a great evening. And I actually